Welcome, Pang, to the 100x show.
Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Madi.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you with us at Token Metrics. We are a big fan of Cosmos and Cosmos ecosystem, both the Token Metrics team and myself. I think what you guys have done within the blockchain industry is of tremendous value. So I'm cognizant that there are some issues with regards to the timing. So what we have done even before the podcast started, we were able to break it down for our community, what Layer Zero is, what Tendermint is, what Cosmos SDK and Cosmos Hub is. So it will be good just to take your take on it. So for the first question, can you explain what Cosmos Network is and help our audience in terms of breakdown between Cosmos Hub and Cosmos SDK?
Yes, of course. Happy to explain. So Cosmos as an ecosystem is a very large decentralized ecosystem of interconnected applications and services that freely allow the community to exchange assets and data across sovereign blockchains. So I think one of the most common misconceptions of Cosmos and the Cosmos ecosystem is that it's one blockchain, and it's not. It is hundreds of blockchains under development. It is 25 as of this week, live interconnected blockchains connected with the Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, IBC. And the difference between the Cosmos Network and the Cosmos Hub is that the Cosmos Hub is the very first blockchain in the Cosmos Network. It's the oldest running network. It has the most decentralized, token holder set, and it has this unique community that believes in the Internet of Blockchains. So the Cosmos ecosystem, right, is built with the Cosmos SDK. So every single blockchain, the 25 that I mentioned earlier that are live with IBC enabled, these together comprise over $70 billion worth of value in assets secured. But beyond that, the Cosmos SDK itself has been used by, very big prominent projects like Binance Chain, like Terra, like Thorchain, and many others. So some of these haven't, enabled IBC yet. They haven't upgraded to support the permissionless transfer of tokens across chains. And, the amount of tokens secured by Cosmos SDK chains is over 150 billion. So you can tell by these two metrics that, roughly half the value of Cosmos is already upgraded to the latest version of the Cosmos SDK. It supports cross-chain token transfers, and we have, lots of value that can still upgrade to support and join this network.
Perfect. That's a very, very good overview, in my opinion. So we did kind of jump into kind of discussing this Internet of blockchains. So that kind of brings me to this question of future of Layer 1. So we saw in 2020 and 2021 market kind of pricing Layer 1 very high. Do you believe in the future it is a possibility Layer 0 like yourself and other Layer Zeros market would kind of start pricing in the fact that since it's able to connect different blockchain, it is where the future is heading?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. So there is a little bit of oddity here on this front. I would argue that Layer Zeros by themselves don't have a lot of value, right? So in the Cosmos land, I would consider Layer Zero to be, IBC connectivity, right? The ability for a chain to connect to another chain. I think by itself, that doesn't have very much value, but the value comes in when you have a large number of Layer 1s that support IBC. So, I'm very bullish on the future of all Layer 1s. And I think that, the Layer 0 IBC that the Cosmos provides is really the cherry on top that will create a lot of value. What I'm seeing on a day-to-day basis is that there are new funds, new crypto-focused, Web3-focused funds out there, popping up every single day that wants to invest into new Layer 1s. And, when the choice is between a Layer 1 that doesn't connect to any other chain and requires on centralized exchanges to do, asset exchange and asset swaps versus, a Layer 1 that has IBC that's able to connect to at least 25 live blockchains, $70 billion worth of value today. and only growing on a daily basis, I think it's very clear what investors will end up choosing. So I'm just super bullish on the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole. I think we struck the right balance. Our ecosystem, our community developers have struck the right balance in choosing this multiple layer one, this multi-chain maximalist paradigm that allows anyone to build things on their own without having to buy a token first. Allow people to build things without having to pay a gas fee to another chain, but is still able to connect to the greater internet of blockchains.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So it brings me to this question that some of the investors I've been speaking with, and also I've seen your podcast on different shows. The vision you have, in my opinion, is to you kind of see perhaps in the future, 10 years down the road, we might have millions of blockchain. But on the other hand, some of the investors have this concern that dApps that want to build, their core focus is just to provide the business logic, and they do not want to create the blockchain from scratch. For them, it kind of makes it a bit of an overkill, and which is one of the narratives that I feel with regards to Cosmos and even Kusama and Polkadot, that there is a bit of an overkill when it comes to layer zero. So, what will be your thoughts and rebuttal to this kind of a narrative, and also I'm more than happy to kind of explore how you kind of see down the line thousands and millions of blockchain connecting with Cosmos, for example.
Yeah, I think that's it's a real concern. In fact, I would say I agree with it. Not everyone needs their own layer one blockchain. I would argue it's at least an order of magnitude, like 10 times harder to launch a new blockchain compared to launching a smart contract, right? And that's going to be okay. That's meant to be the case. Just like I would make the comparison that, not everyone needs to build their own house or needs to have their own house, right? They might just end up renting in an apartment or condo instead. There's so much shared security and convenience and simplicity and less for you to manage, right, on a daily basis, especially if you have other things to do with your time, right? And managing a layer one requires managing all of that external infrastructure, like if you have a house, mowing your lawn, maintaining the roof, securing your own house with your own home security, etc. So I agree with that fully. So one of the coolest things about Cosmos is that it has products that serve across the entire spectrum of what people want to do. If you want to be out there, if you want to be ambitious, focus your whole time, build a layer one with your community, with your, with your co-founders, you can definitely go ahead and do so. And I believe that's where, a lot of investment capital is sitting there waiting on the sidelines, ready to invest in you. But it's a lot of work. If you don't want to do that, we have at least 3 different smart contract platforms that are built on top of Cosmos chains. I can go over them real quick. So first of all, the most popular one in the world right now, right, which is developing with Solidity smart contracts using, and built on top of the Ethereum virtual machine, right? Everyone comes from there, to be honest, that's at this point still. There's this project out there in the Cosmos ecosystem called Evmos. And Evmos is what it is the Ethereum virtual machine built on top of Cosmos. So you get the benefits of all current Ethereum, bootstrapping technology, like the various tools and plugins and libraries of Solidity that make it easy to build a smart contract. You also get the benefit of MetaMask support, right? MetaMask is hugely and widely used by so many people with Ethereum and projects even like Polygon, etc. So Evmos gives the ability to, use tools like these for developers and for users. But at the same time, you're able to take these tokens that are created on top of Evmos and send them across the internet of blockchains, connect that to, $70 billion worth of value across these 25 other chains. So Evmos hasn't launched yet. I believe it's launching early next year. So that's really exciting to me. And I think the mind-blowing thing about Evmos is that, it's one chain with the EVM, right? And you might imagine that over time, it'll suffer congestion problems just like Ethereum. So because it is built on the Cosmos SDK, you can, as a developer, you can very simply spin up Evmos 2, Evmos 3, Evmos 4. And as congestion starts to rise, as gas prices start to rise on any one chain, you can bring your smart contract to another chain altogether. So really, there's infinite scalability on this front. That's that's Ethereum smart contracts. But also in the Cosmos ecosystem, we have CosmWasm smart contracts. So CosmWasm is a module for the Cosmos SDK that allows you to write smart contracts that compile to WebAssembly bytecode. So for those of you who are less familiar with what this is it's a runtime that was created primarily for web browsers to use. So some of the most performant web applications out there use WASM. I think the best example out there is called Figma. If you have designers on your team, if you're a designer yourself, right, Figma has become the go-to tool to develop visual assets for almost everything that you can imagine. And it's all built into the browser. It's all super performant, much more than JavaScript. So what CosmWasm does is bring this high-performant runtime engine put on top of the Cosmos SDK and uses that as a smart contract framework. So that is actually live on multiple Cosmos chains right now. The most popular one you may know of is Terra. So much of Terra's value, all of these DeFi applications launching on top of Terra, they're all built with CosmWasm. There's probably not a lot of hype around CosmWasm yet, but we're invested into at least 3 different chains that use CosmWasm that will launch with CosmWasm. And the developer mindshare around this smart contract development framework is only growing. There's a third one in development as well. I can't say too much about it yet, but we'll see an announcement about it in February of next year, and it's going to be huge.
Yes, Punk, that's amazing. That's great insights. Like you mentioned about IBC during that conversation. So I had a follow-up question on IBC. So you did mention IBC. Because of that, blockchains will be able to communicate between each other. So when I went, I think if I remember correctly, it was one of the websites where I can see different chains connected to Cosmos Hub, and I kind of saw that, for example, Osmosis, there was a lot of IBC, like a lot more traffic there relative to Cosmos Hub. So if we have this kind of a ultra modular approach where chains can communicate between each other and they can also communicate via Cosmos Hub, how do you kind of envision, let's say in few years' time, will majority of the traffic pass through Cosmos Hub, or do you feel like things will just take its natural course?
So things will definitely take its natural course. So the Cosmos ecosystem, right, is a mesh network where any chain can connect to any other chain directly. And you're going to see in the future there will be many hubs, many spokes, and they're all going to connect to each other and bring value to each other. So you said earlier that there's probably more IBC transactions going to, let's say, the Osmosis DEX than the Cosmos Hub itself. And I think that's only fair. I think Osmosis has created a lot of value for people who use this DEX. There's great liquidity mining rewards on Osmosis. I would expect people using Osmosis right now don't want me to talk about it, actually, because the more people that use it, the lower the rewards. But they've done a great job of creating value for liquidity providers and traders. So Cosmos Hub itself has many features coming up on its roadmap that is designed to create value for the Internet of Blockchains. What is important is that everything in the Cosmos ecosystem still relies on the Cosmos Hub for at least one primary reason, which is fiat on-ramp and fiat off-ramp, right? So the Atom token is the most distributed, the oldest token, and the most widely supported token across centralized exchanges. So if you want to get into the Cosmos ecosystem, likely you have to go through the Cosmos Hub. You have to go through the Atom. And if you want to cash out at any point, you'll have to go through the Atom as well. So that creates a very symbiotic relationship between the Atom token and all the chains in the Cosmos ecosystem. This symbiotic relationship, in combination with what I mentioned earlier, being that the Atom holder community is the one that believes fully in the Internet of Blockchains vision, has created a very unique, I think, environment in the second half of this year, where like every single chain, or at least most of the chains launching with IBC, like built with the Cosmos SDK, are doing, large scale airdrops onto the Cosmos Hub, right? So by holding on to a piece of the Cosmos Hub, by by owning a part of this original chain that created the Internet of Blockchains, you're actually given access to many different new chains built with Cosmos SDK, supported with IBC, allowing you to, to start experimenting with some of these new chains. And it's been a fantastic way for new chains to get users from the Cosmos Hub, which has the most users in the Cosmos ecosystem.
Yeah, that's great. I think towards the end, I think I would bring this question up regarding the token utility, because for many users and many investors, that has been the question. But just to kind of frame it and for everybody to get the whole context, I think it becomes becomes sensible to kind of discuss this component first, and then we can jump to the token utility part. So for me, with regards to layer zero, one of the names that pops out is Polkadot or Kusama. So in terms of the architecture and some of the future development that is taking, what are the things, in your opinion, you guys are doing which you feel are better and a bit differentiated in comparison to Polkadot? And what are the things that you guys have taken some of the lessons from their development, which you feel like by incorporating those things, there could be more utility towards Atom, and more utility could be accrued towards the whole ecosystem. So I would just like to know some of your thoughts in regards to this.
Yeah, so first of all, I like the Polkadot project, and I'm really glad there's more than one project focused on cross-chain interoperability and scalability. And I also think in the long run, Cosmos and Polkadot are going to end up being somewhat similar, if not very similar. The major difference, I believe, is the priorities, Polkadot and Cosmos is focused on in the beginning. So Cosmos has always been focused on creating an environment that allows for permissionless innovation. And also, we highly prize sovereignty, which means the ability to create chains from open source software without relying on anyone else or any other network. So I think we've succeeded very successfully on this front. Every day there are new teams reaching out to us asking, if they can get some advice, some help in launching their new chain. Every day we get requests from investors asking about, what are the coolest chains to invest in the Cosmos ecosystem. And we're, barely able to handle this load. We're hiring like mad. We've tripled the size of our team in 2021, and we still need to grow immensely from here because everyone wants to build a Cosmos chain. So in my mind, this has been incredibly successful. But it's also true that, the original chain of the Cosmos network, the Cosmos Hub, has, less of value accrual going for it than the relayer chain of Polkadot. So the difference, in the Polkadot world is they focused on shared security from the beginning, right? And that was one of their primary goals. So one of the limitations, the core difference between Polkadot and Cosmos is that there is a limitation to how many chains that can use shared security with the Polkadot relayer chain, and they define that currently as 100 chains. But beyond that, there's also, quite a difficult system in place that requires chain developers to obtain a parachain slot, one of these 100, right? It has to be, a methodical, well thought out decision that also involves the entire dot holder community to decide whether if a chain, deserves to be part of Polkadot. And in Cosmos, there's none of that, right? You can build a chain right now, on the weekend on your own and launch it and connect it to Osmosis and, send your new dog tokens across the Internet of Blockchains, so across 25 different blockchains. You could do that, this weekend if you wanted to. People won't use it because it's the holidays and they're going to be on vacation, but, the ability for anyone to build chains like this permissionlessly and connect it to Cosmos is like a massive selling point, and the reason why I'm so excited about this ecosystem. My background is really in Web 2, right? I love building websites and designing websites and launching websites, and I always did that on like a $5 web host, with like a gigabyte of storage, etc. And that's really fun, right? And it allows so many people to get into the web industry and build things of value without having to pay anyone else really much of anything. And that's what the Cosmos model is, right? Allowing you to build and innovate permissionlessly, which will allow, the number of Cosmos chains, live IBC enabled chains, to scale massively. And, that's why my thesis is 1 million chains in Cosmos. in the future. I don't think it'll happen in 10 years, maybe 15 or 20, but it'll be there. Whereas in the Polkadot model, they don't have a solution yet for chains beyond 100. I believe that, with a lot of work, they can, in fact, improve the performance of their stack and, let's say scale to maybe 200, 300, maybe even 1,000. But even 1,000 compared to the scale of the web today, right? Would you only visit 1,000 websites? Or would the web be what it is today if there are only 1,000 websites allowed? I don't think so. However, in the long run, right, I believe that even Polkadot will adopt IBC. It might happen sooner than you imagine. And so even the set of chains built and supported and secured by Polkadot's relayer chain will be able to connect permissionlessly to Cosmos. And that would be a great thing to see.
Yeah, that's great. One of the concerns I get, maybe you can like shed some light on this as well with regards to Polkadot, that since everybody is sharing the security and let's say you have 100 chains, if there's a lot of activity happening on all of these chains, there could potentially be issues with regards to congestion there. So could that be one of the problems that basically incentivizes them to kind of change their structure and basically maybe adopt something which is a bit similar to Cosmos? Do you kind of think that could be one area that could be problematic and that will prompt them to change certain features of the architecture?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely worried about that, right? And I'm worried about that in the Cosmos ecosystem as well, which is why, at Tendermint, one of our flagship products is Starport. And this is that tool that, like I mentioned earlier, that allows you to build and scaffold a new blockchain in the course of a weekend. I think that, throughput and gas prices and congestion is always going to be an issue in blockchain, just because, blockchains are, many times slower and many times more inefficient than centralized databases, right? I think there's a joke going around somewhere that says that, there's a new consensus protocol out there, new blockchain. It's called MySQL, and you can get millions of transactions per second, and it's super fast. But that's what we already have today, right? That's the web. And blockchain is nowhere near that efficient, which is why I believe, the value in creating these new tokens can only be scalable, web scale, if there are 1 million plus blockchains that exist.
Yes.
But yeah, to answer your question regarding Polkadot specifically, I think they've already run into this problem as well. They see that the Polkadot model is a little bit too rigid, and I've seen their community also launch Kusama, right? I guess this canary network for Polkadot. And I would imagine there'll be very many Kusamas in the future if people decide that they love using Substrate, right, which is Polkadot's blockchain development framework. There's going to be a lot of interest in building Substrate chains, and even the 200 slots offered by both Polkadot and Kusama are not going to be enough. And they're going to want some way. What about communicating, right, between Kusama and Polkadot itself, right? What's in place for that? Well, we're thinking it can be IBC. Like Cosmos is already the biggest cross-chain permissionless ecosystem, and it creates a lot of value for other networks to support IBC.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I can kind of imagine that instead of just having a bridge between Kusama and Polkadot, why not just have IBC modularity and kind of achieve that? Yeah, that's very interesting insight.
Yeah, why not allow every Kusama chain to permissionlessly talk to every chain on Polkadot, right? That's probably the end goal that we all really want, right?
And I believe for our audience, this is, I think, one takeaway as well, like one differentiator between Cosmos and maybe perhaps Polkadot is that the sovereignty of different blockchains being intact and whilst they can communicate. So at Token Metrics, we're a big fan of Cosmos, but some of the investors historically have had concerns regarding the utility of Atom token, and recently there has been few catalysts, which we have already discussed. One was IBC. There's also Gravity DEX being built, and also Gravity Bridge, which I believe will have their own separate token. But can you just walk us through like some of the recent development that has taken place in the ecosystem, which you believe could accrue value to Atom holders. I know you have already mentioned some, but let's just kind of like decode this and just discuss this in a bit more detail, step by step, like some of the current catalysts, and some of the future upcoming catalysts you believe will accrue a lot of value to Atom holders, and why it makes sense for perhaps investors to kind of buy Atom.
Yeah, so I think I've expressed a lot of the sentiment throughout these questions already so far, but I'll just go over them again real quick. So first of all, the Cosmos Hub and the Atom token, right, is held on by this unique community of people who believe in the Internet of Blockchains. So that by itself makes it a great place to get users for the rest of the ecosystem. And part of our job here at Tendermint is to get users of the Cosmos ecosystem. And users with the Cosmos ecosystem generally start with the Cosmos Hub, right? Given that it's the most commonly found token, really, around the world, and the most decentralized token as well. And also, it's been secured by the Cosmos Hub set of validators, which are really the world's most well-known and most prestigious validators. What I've been noticing is that as other networks have been launching other proof-of-stake networks, right, that require validators, a lot of them, if not the majority of them, come from the Cosmos Hub originally. So the security of the Cosmos Hub is unparalleled, it's unmatched. And it's a great place for people to hold their tokens. I think one of the biggest customers of the Cosmos Hub currently are actually centralized exchanges. They're some of the biggest validators on the Cosmos Hub, and they hold on to massive amounts of tokens for their users. And ensuring that there is a stable place, right, for centralized exchanges to hold on to their tokens is actually very valuable in the Cosmos ecosystem because no other chain offers that, right? You look at projects that are doing extremely well, built on top of the Cosmos SDK with IBC enabled, right? I'll take, for example, a chain that's higher value than the Cosmos Hub itself, Terra. So Terra, while having more value than the Cosmos Hub secured, is the token of Terra, Luna, is actually much harder to get, much harder to obtain than the Cosmos Atom. And the other chain I might mention, Osmosis, right, which has been getting lots of attention, which has created lots of value for the Cosmos community. Security is not very high. In fact, because the liquidity farming rewards on Osmosis are so high, there are more Osmo being traded on the exchange, being pooled on the exchange, than there is securing the network. So network security is one thing that is really lacking. Network security, access to fiat, those are both things lacking in the Cosmos ecosystem, and the Hub provides that. So one of the biggest features coming to the Cosmos Hub to make this, world-class security accessible by the Internet of Blockchains is a feature called interchain security. That's being developed right now by the Informal team and the interchain team in the Cosmos ecosystem. And what this allows is for the Cosmos Hub to do just that. Take the security. The Cosmos Hub has been running nonstop since 2019, and has never suffered a security issue. And be able to share that with new chains that are launching that have a much harder time getting a solid validator set. So we mentioned earlier Polkadot, right? Polkadot has really been at the forefront of solving this shared security issue. And they have parachain slots, parachain auctions to allow chains to use shared security. So in Cosmos, clearly it's not going to be the same, because whereas in Polkadot you need to connect to a relayer, like the Kusama relayer, Polkadot relayer, to use XMCP, their cross-chain messaging protocol. In the Cosmos, you don't need to use the Cosmos Hub shared security to use IBC, right? So it's not like it's not going to be a binary decision, and not all of the value in Cosmos will be captured by the Cosmos Hub, right? So just being realistic right there. But the coolest thing about the Cosmos ecosystem is just that the entire value is not captured by one token, but instead it's optional. So if you believe that the Cosmos community, which generally for the most part are all big stakeholders of the Cosmos Hub, if you believe in it, then you should be a part of the Cosmos Hub itself. And we're in deep discussions with many different projects that may use interchain security in the next year, right? So that's going to be a really cool value add to the Cosmos ecosystem, a set of chains secured by interchain security from the Cosmos Hub that anyone can freely use, public utilities, and that you can freely trust. You mentioned earlier Gravity Bridge, right, and Gravity DEX. So these are not built by the same team. There's the bHarvest team that we're in close collaboration with that have built the Gravity DEX, and the Althea team, which the Interchain team is in close collaboration with, has built the Gravity Bridge. So the Gravity DEX, this is a Uniswap style DEX that's on the Cosmos Hub itself. The Gravity Bridge is a Cosmos to Ethereum bridge. And to go into a little bit more detail about Gravity Bridge, it allows Cosmos to connect to not just Ethereum mainnet, but in the future, because it is an Ethereum to Cosmos bridge, it can allow for multi-sided bridges. So things from like Cosmos to Ethereum, from Cosmos to Polygon, from Cosmos to Arbitrum, and etc. And also from these chains to Ethereum. So it's going to be a really cool and amazing bridge. And it's launching as a sovereign chain. So we have this DEX on the hub itself. We have the sovereign chain on another chain. We have the sovereign bridge on another chain. But in the future, things like these are going to be using interchain security. So features, will no longer be going directly on the Cosmos Hub, but they will be secured by the Cosmos Hub validator set. And that should allow for increased throughput and scalability on the hub itself. Make it that great place, the best place for onboarding, offboarding, but also allow it to secure really cool features. So, an ETH bridge, a DEX, and also a smart contract framework like CosmWasm potentially. So the hub will be able to gain features very, very quickly over the course of next year through interchain security. And that's going to be really amazing and really fun to see.
Yeah, thank you for the great breakdown. It kind of feels like best of both worlds, like higher network effects as well as a lot of value accrual to the token, slightly similar to what Polkadot is doing with regards to shared
It's
security.
similar but different, right? So I do acknowledge I think the DOT token has a lot going for it, and if you hold the DOT token, right, it's definitely more of a simple way to invest in the future of the Polkadot ecosystem. Whereas if you hold the Atom token, and if you're not paying attention, you might not be getting all the value in the Cosmos ecosystem. So, solving that is also part of what we're doing here at Tendermint. Like I mentioned before, we do marketing for Cosmos, and we do bring attention to all the great tokens launching in the Cosmos ecosystem. And I think that's a great way. Clearly it's a bit more work. You have to actively pay attention to what chains are launching in Cosmos and look into investing in them. But it creates a bigger ecosystem at the end of the day. And it creates, the Web3 version of the web today. And that's really what's meant to happen, right? You don't see, for example, Google or Netflix or any other large Web2 company owning the entire web, right? They only own their own websites and they connect to other websites. And the web creates value together. So that's going to be the end state of Web3.
Just my thoughts as well. I feel like Cosmos community is a very close knit community, and one of the way I can also kind of imagine one additional value accrual is marketing. So anything which is building on Cosmos, when they want to market their chain or their DApp potentially in the future, they could also kind of airdrop to the validator set in Cosmos, so they can airdrop to some of the stakers there. So would you say like not a concrete way of value accrual, but that is also one mechanism through some of the value accrual via community also happens?
Oh, I definitely agree. I think, there have been chains that have done this to immense levels of success, right? Osmosis and Juno, I think being the top two in my mind. They did a massive airdrop of a large number of tokens. I think Juno airdropped 50% of their tokens to the Cosmos Hub staking set, right? People who hold Atom tokens. And it's created a lot of value for Juno. And that's clearly a great way to create community, right? So you have to think of airdrops in a way that's not about giving away your network, right? But it's actually about building value by figuring out, maybe who cares about the Internet of Blockchains, who cares about cross-chain value, and that answer is always the Cosmos Hub itself, right? So if you really want people to really buy into your project, giving some tokens to the Cosmos Hub is a great way to bootstrap your initial community.
As we come to the conclusion here, we touched upon the Cosmos community and Cosmos ecosystem. So, what would you say some of the projects, the upcoming projects, or maybe even current projects that you feel are doing something very unique? So, it could be across different verticals, maybe DeFi, social impact, Web 3.0, infrastructure project, or maybe even metaverse in gaming. So some of the development on that front, which you think are interesting, our community would love to know.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think one really cool project that you should pay more attention to is definitely Umi. So Umi is planning on launching soon, and what it is a way for you to loan out some of your tokens in exchange for stable coins. So it's a bridge between Ethereum and Cosmos as well, and it will allow the transfer of massive amounts of Ethereum-based stablecoins over to the Cosmos ecosystem, and give you ways similar to Aave actually in the Ethereum ecosystem for you to to get stablecoins into your wallet and do things with them. So beyond that, there are a great number of projects focused on all manner of things. And what we're noticing is that we can provide a lot of value to them because we're incubating several chains of our own. So I'm not going to spend this time talking about them because we'll have announcements further into next year. But what we're noticing is that every chain runs into the same problem. They need a legal entity. They need to figure out how to do their token distribution. They need, some marketing around launch. They need to figure out, what sort of airdrop makes the most sense. What sort of token issuance strategy makes the most sense. And here at Tendermint, because we're building 4 chains ourselves, is something that we're actively working on and providing as a value add to all the chain developers in Cosmos.
Lately, we have seen gaming and metaverse boom in different ecosystem. So, are there any upcoming metaverse or gaming project on the wider Cosmos ecosystem that you kind of paying close attention to?
Yeah, so I had a great call with Lex Avellino, who's the founder, I believe, of the Passage 3D project. So Passage 3D is a virtual environment that allows you to purchase 3D NFTs and use them, to customize your character, to wield in your hands, to decorate your surrounding environment, and it maps very well actually to the Internet of Blockchains because the idea is that there's multiple virtual worlds and you're able to transfer your assets from one virtual world to another, through the likes of IBC. So I've been really excited about that, and I believe they're deep in development right now, and they're building a lot of this NFT functionality on the Juno chain.
Yeah, that's very fascinating. So a metaverse, which is also kind of like a multiverse, like you have different, they have accessibility to different chains. Yeah, yeah, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very early on for our ecosystem, just because there's so much infrastructure that still needs to be built. But cross-chain NFTs is something that's going to be really, really cool. And maybe it doesn't seem important right now because there's not really any live NFT projects in Cosmos. But through the likes of Gravity Bridge and such, you can see a future where NFTs move from other ecosystems into Cosmos, right? And you can stop paying hundreds or thousands of dollars to obtain and mint NFTs and just spend a few cents instead in Cosmos.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I myself have been a gamer, so just talking about NFTs, not just JPEG. I feel like if you have gaming NFTs, like gaming assets, just the ability to maybe perhaps take one gaming asset to another game, I think is super fascinating, and I think can unlock tremendous value. So yeah, one of the themes I'm very bullish on as well. Over here at Token Metrics, we also kind of like this theme. I think it could be something which is very interesting. So Pang, I appreciate you hopping on call with us. I can't wait for the next time to have this conversation again with you with further updates. So thank you and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Mehdi. It was great of you to invite me on. I think you had some great questions, and I hope your community enjoyed the answers. I'm really looking forward to coming on again. We have tons of great stuff in the works that I'm not able to talk about yet, and I'd love to share about them in the future.
Thank you.